This episode of Tommy Travels has been brought to you by Philco, Starlight, and Starbright 2020 electron tubes, pre-tested for enduring performance. Get your Philco, Starlight, Starbright electron tubes today. Well, here we are at another museum on another Saturday, this time in St. Louis Park at the Pavek Museum of Broadcast. The Pavek Museum of Broadcast. This was started by a guy named Joe Pavek, who was an instructor at Dunwoody Institute in 1948. And students of the day, they used to take apart old radios to learn their craft. And in an effort to save some of those old radios, he started squirreling them away and started a collection which grew and grew through the 1970s. And then he started looking for someone to take over the collection as he was getting up in years, and finding no one, he was about to auction it all off. And then a guy named Earl Bakken stepped in. He had a fascination of old radios as well and decided to partner with him to start a nonprofit organization which eventually created this museum. Now, if you're not sure who Earl Bakken is, he is the co-founder of Medtronic, and we talk a lot about him in my previous adventure. So if you'd like to go back and watch my previous one, you can see a little bit about him. And so the partnership between Earl Bakken and Joe Pavek started this museum. Once the museum opened in 1988, October 29th, Rudy Perpich, the governor at the time of Minnesota, called that Joe Pavek Day, officially. About a year later, Joe Pavek died, and over the years, Earl Bakken added to the collection. He bought more collections from other people, and added quite a bit to this over the years. So I'm excited to go in and check out what is inside of this place. So welcome to another edition of Tommy Travels. It's Tommy Travels. So let's go inside and see what there is to see. Welcome to the first MP3 player, where you can listen to music at a location for only a nickel. And here we have the 1922 version of Beats by Dre. So some of you may remember taking a typing class in high school or junior high. I was one of those people. And I can't believe my eyes. I found the very typewriter that I learned to type on right here. Here we are back in the 1920s at an old-time radio store. Towns used to have radio stores all over the place. In fact, some places would have Radio Row. In Minneapolis off Washington Avenue, that was Radio Row for the Twin Cities back in the 20s, and radio parts were so readily available that you didn't have to buy a radio. You could just buy all of the parts for it and build your own radio. You could even become a radio manufacturer of your own. In fact, in the Twin Cities in the state of Minnesota, there was over 60 radio manufacturers. Kind of like this one. Crosley Radio.
And then here's the horn. And
Wow. Pretty fancy. That sounds like the old music from the Little Rascals. What year is this from?
23, I think. Oh, 1915.
Wow, 1915. Old teletype machine.
Electric typewriter, ribbon holder, ribbon printer, transmitter, ribbon reader.
Wow.
Quite a few moving parts.
Yes, absolutely. So that's like when there's breaking news. That's the sound they would play on the... Wow. And then somebody typed it all out on this thing, huh? And then this tape, where did this go to?
Well, the radio stations all over the country.
Oh, okay. Breaking news! A cow has actually jumped over the moon. The world's first rocket-powered bovine spaceflight is successful. NASA announced today that its plans for lunar cheese production will begin immediately. Here's one of the oldest phones that they have from 1907. This is back in the day when you'd have to pick up your phone and then turn the crank. That's pretty loud.
Is that we are changing your telephone service over to dial. There's been a lot of planning, preparation, and work in order to bring dial to town. You may have noticed that lots of work has been going on. New cables pulled into place and other types of construction. If the dial isn't already on your telephone, it soon will be. Now, let's dial the number we looked up and made a note of. Remember, always be sure to dial the first two letters of the central office name, then the 5 numbers. For example, for word 49970, dial W O 4.
And here is a look at that actual rotary dial that the lady uses in the commercial. This is something that they took around to schools to show kids how to use it, and or to different places to show people how to use a rotary dial. Yep, just as I remember.
Tune in to the specific frequency that you wanted. It took much longer to get around the entire band, and so they put a motor on it.
Oh, wow. That was probably pretty high tech for back in those days.
A tuning eye. It shrinks as you get closer to the frequency.
So this is real radio that we're catching on it. So this actually works.
This is AM,
Wow.
or what's left of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adjustable tone control.
Oh.
Also had adjustable speaker. So this is in the bass position, but then for talk radio, you push it forward and not as much sound is bouncing around in the cabinet. Sounds more neutral. KPAV.
Not exactly. Got a bass expander here. We just looked at an old Zenith radio, and this is a old-time Zenith TV from 1951. And you can see you didn't just flip the buttons like you do now with the remote control. It actually had a dial tuner that you would tune in the station just like the radio. Here are some novelty radios that I'm sure a lot of parents used to buy for their kids. We got a Smurfs one, and it looks like Pinocchio, and there's Snoopy. Got a Bugs Bunny down here, and probably my favorite, Ernie and Bert from the old Sesame Street. Unless, of course, you prefer Superman or I'm Batman. They used to have this character here called the Mighty Atom, starring Reddy Kilowatt. And it's the story of electricity from amber to atoms. And here they have a little demonstration of how electricity works. So you just get to crank this up and light up the light bulb. And there's Reddy Kilowatt right there, blinking on and off. This is a lot of work. If this is what people had to do to keep lights on, I probably would have voted against it. And then these are all of the members of the 2017 honorees for the Minnesota Broadcasting Hall of Fame. Joan Steffen, local news, Paul Stagg, right there. And of course, Joe Souchere, probably my favorite. Mr. Garage Logic himself, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Souchere. Of course, Paul Majors, who was NBC Channel 11 News, but then went big time and moved to LA. And then John Hines and Berglund. WLOL is what it was. WLOL. I'm John Hines. And I'm Bob Berglund. We're Hines and Berglund in the morning. And this is Donald K. Martin right here. He was an actual DJ at the time, using this very equipment that we see right here. You're listening to Tommy Travels on KDUZ Hutchinson, 1260 AM. That's right, Tommy Travels. And I'm kicking off another long shot of polka music here with Norwegian's Dance Number 2 by request. That's right, so keep it tuned right here to 1260 AM. In the early days of radio, they used to record shows live. And here's Bing Crosby, very successful recording artist. He didn't really like the regimentation of the live shows, which he did for NBC, so he switched over to ABC, who would allow him to pre-record his shows. They would do about 40 minutes and then edit it down to 26 or 27 minutes. And from 1947 to 1948, his voice was recorded into this machine right here, a magnetophone. This is Bing Crosby's first audio tape recorder. Kind of a neat feeling to think I'm standing right here in front of where Bing Crosby recorded his music.
Player from about 100 years ago.
There she goes, up, up, a little bit higher. Oh,
Wow.
So
That's pretty loud.
it's all acoustic, all mechanical.
Okay.
So there's no, and so what we have here is a spring motor. So you just crank it up. And then the amplification, or the sound, is focused using the horn.
Oh.
So this is the pickup here. So the needle rides in the groove of the cylinder, and it picks up the vibrations and then that's where the horn begins, and it comes out here.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's kind of a primitive way of doing it. Of course, Edison initially used tin foil in 1877, using a device. This is a replica, but he used a device just like this one.
Wow. Unreal.
So, and then we got flat disc records eventually, and this one is powered. This one has electricity. So all you do, turn it on. We don't have to crank it.
Oh my gosh.
So, but this one is still using a horn, so there's no electric amplifier. So there's an 8-foot horn inside of here. So
Oh.
this is your volume control.
Oh wow. Open the doors, it gets a lot louder. You guys like my hat? I sure do. It's from 1951. It's a Mars radio hat. See? Look at that. It's got this thing, antenna on the background. It's got this thing for my ear to put in so I could hear the radio. Pretty futuristic stuff back in 1951. Was there a volume control, you ask? No, they said if you don't like the volume, you could just, take it a little bit off your ear, and that'll fix that old problem. Hey, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. It's been a fun adventure here at the Pavek Museum in St. Louis Park. If you like my channel, please hit subscribe on YouTube. It'll just give you some new notifications of when I have new videos coming out, and they do come out every Saturday. Also, if you'd like to see a sneak preview of my next video, just go to tommytravels.fun. That's my website. That'll have the current video, the one for the next week. It has links to my YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, all at tommytravels.fun. So check that out if you haven't. And otherwise, you guys, thank you so much again, and I hope to catch you on the flip side.
So this is a spark gap transmitter from 1912. Smaller version of what they would have had on board the Titanic.
Okay.
This is really the origins of radio, so it's a radio transmitter, essentially. And the reason that we have this is because the maritime industry, ships like the Titanic, couldn't use wired systems like the telegraph or the telephone, so they came up with a way of communicating wirelessly, sending dots and dashes through the air instead of down a wire.
Oh.
So we're going to make some sparks in the form of Morse code, and that message will radiate in every direction, just like it did on the Titanic, and then someone will come and rescue us.
All right.
So let me fire it up.
Okay.
We got a few different switches here.
Okay.
We're going to give it some juice. And I'm going to send out 2 SOS messages, and the spark will appear right about here.
Okay.
So here we go.
Wow. That is fascinating.
That's radio.
Wow.
The origins of radio.
Well, Danny, thanks so much for being on Tommy Travels today.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then also, this
Yes.
is your receiving equipment.
Oh,
So this is what you'd be listening to pick up
to that.
the message is radiating through the air. So we call this a radio. This is the receiver.
Okay.
And then the transmitter is that.
Oh,
And
perfect.
if you understood Morse code, it was even better.
That's
So,
awesome. Well, thank you so much.
you bet.